Hey everybody, how are you doing today? So we're doing something a little different today. This year, I should say. Normally, I give you my full ranking of a festival, but I've got a lot of stuff from TIFF, and I decided this year I'm going to give you my top 10 this week instead of doing, one review at a time. At Fantasia Fest this year, we started packing in a bunch of reviews all together. So you get these longer videos instead of a bunch of small ones. And we're gonna start with my top. We're gonna do my top 10 this week, and then there'll still be 30 odd reviews coming at you down the pipes. Let's start with number 10. The film called from Iraq called Irkalla, Gilgamesh's Dream, is TIFF at its best. TIFF should be a diverse showcase of movies from around the world that enriches our sense of community. What happens in Iraq should at least emotionally affect you here in Canada or elsewhere. It's always exciting to see films from countries which you know very little about or don't have a very or they don't have a very large film industry. With this film, we focus on some kids who live in societal collapse and are tasked from birth to navigate through life from a situation they had nothing to do with. One of the kids is like a gangster, the other one is more sensitive and creative, disassociated into the ancient tale of Gilgamesh. That tale is of a deity who's part man, and there's plenty of bloodshed and sacrifice. It is far removed from his current life, but relatable to the point where it's all he wants to focus on. There's a lot of excitement here, a lot to meditate on, but more than anything, there's a lot of anger to transmit for the experience. These kids had nothing to do with this, and it's an unfair life for them. Are we still live? All right, we haven't been taken down yet. Number 9, Eagles of the Republic tells an interesting and plausible tale of an Egyptian actor. He essentially lives a secular capitalist life. He acts in fluffy movies, makes plenty of money, has cultural clout, and dates a younger woman as an older man. Then a Muslim Brotherhood style guy approaches him to be an activist actor for them, which is not appealing at all to him, so he declines. Then they play hardball with him, and he loses a role for purely political reasons. He then makes an uncomfortable alliance with fundamentalists as they come to power. They're actually already in power at the time, but anyways, he looks visibly uncomfortable acting in this trash, but goes on because he knows nothing about making a living outside of acting. I felt compelled after not loving the guy as a typical sleazebag to then see this sleazebag have moral boundaries. One can react nicely to his further and deeper transgressions. It shows depth. His situation goes downward, but we then see all along that one can have weaker ideals even though it is attached to a circumstance. The movie reminds me a bit of Bernardo Bertolucci's film The Conformist, but in a different cultural context. I love where things went and love the moral depth to this jabroni. Number 8. The Napa Boys is the sort of thing you'll find funny or hate immediately. It's one of those movies where you need some kind of inclination of what they're trying to do, or you just won't like it. It's a self-aware, deconstructive frat boy movie. It embraces what it makes fun of. It even ratchets it up, just like Cannibal Holocaust did to the Mondo Kane film. These Napa Boys are a group of wine-drinking bros who are aging, and the act isn't cute anymore, but it's their identity. You've got the annoying writer and then the leader, who is the bro charmer, who might even enjoy having sex with his daughter. There's the fat guy, there's the black guy, and they even reluctantly take in a woman. But then she becomes awesome, and even more of one of the guys than the guys themselves. I found myself initially laughing a lot, and once the dynamic is nicely set up, I was less audible because now it was time to absorb the story, if you could call it that. Maybe it's just what transpires during a movie. It deals with so many movie tropes, it feels like one big gesture rather than an attempt to contribute to storytelling itself. It was also neat to see Jay and Silent Bob at a TIFF screening for the first time, as characters, of course. Love the Napa Boys. Number 7. I had a window of time during TIFF one day and decided to watch Epic, Elvis Presley in concert. The Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie did not entertain me, but he actually directed this one and it blew me away. The Austin Butler movie was hurt, in my opinion, by Tom Hanks' performance. It absolutely drove me up the wall. It was hard to get through. The story was cool and all, but Baz's style annoys me, even though Austin did a great job. The movie Priscilla by Sofia Coppola was a much more interesting film in my opinion. But this documentary was more enjoyable for me than that film. It was a revelation, to be honest. The way the archival footage is put together made me feel like this was a polished documentary in 2025 that was just some tweaks on something made in the late 70s. The way the scenes transition was phenomenal. It seems perfectly put together in the editing booth. From the performances to the conversation, we go from a lot of talk to some music to a lot of music and some talk. This isn't a documentary consisting of historians talking about Elvis. It's usually the king in his own words or being in the shots at least. I can't wait for more of you to see this perfectly on the big screen. And I saw it on an IMAX screen. It's very nice. Okay. We're on number 7. The Japanese coming-of-age movie Renoir is vibey, mellow mostly, and when it was spooky, it wasn't as brutal as it could have been. It played at the Cannes Film Festival and has made its way over to TIFF. It's not necessarily an auteur kind of movie, though. It's a good thing, though. We all need space to breathe in between these kind of movies. This one is a mellow vibe to an extent. It deals with an 11-year-old girl losing her father, who along the way almost gets tricked by a pedophile. Those are legitimately massive things to dish out to an audience. But the way it's shot, the way it's structured, the way it is performed sort of undercuts or downplays the entire experience. Maybe you just need to see it to feel it. George Carlin had this joke once to suggest that anything could be funny. Here, it's more than that. Anything can be downplayed and bludgeonings can be avoided. It's both suspenseful that way and levity-inducing. It's a nice but serious sort of film. I'm glad I saw this. And maybe the argument of an anti-auteur sort of cinema falls apart if I saw the director's first movie to find the number of consistencies. Blah, 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 blah. Number 6. The coming-of-age movie from Taiwan. Wait, is it number 6? Well, that was number 6. We're on number 5. Oh my god. The coming-of-age movie from Taiwan called Girl is quite something else. In a rough way, there's a self-described loser mom and crazy drunk dad. The main character is pushing adolescence, and she's always alarmed. Her environment is gnarly. Lots of yelling and beating go around, and we even get a rape. I found myself on edge as well. But it wasn't so bad. Just watch Raging Bull for a nightmare domestic tale. The setting is neat. It's so culturally different than Canada, so it's immersive in its own right. The side characters have a voice of their own and are helpful in dulling the bludgeoning of the parents. This is a movie to admire and feel impact. It's not like an entertainment roller coaster, or at least not in a conventional sense. There's an undeniably interesting anthropological component to it. It's just neat to see people live here, even and maybe especially the desperate ones. There is a jump in time for the last scene, and it's pretty heartbreaking in a way that is direct but also lingering. It's sort of hard to explain, yet I recommend it. Maybe you want something emotionally coarse, or want that. So go ahead and watch this in the future. Love that movie. Okay, now we're getting the top 4, the Letterboxd top 4. Let's go. Modern Horror was a movie I was going to see during TIFF, but was more than happy to watch a screener beforehand. If Sean Baker's name is attached to something, I'm down. This movie is like a blend between fiction and documentary. It's based on the life of a sex worker. Some moments from her life are reenacted, and people in her life are interviewed by her as well. It's quite unique like that. And in other ways, basically, it feels like a lighthearted and upbeat presentation to destigmatize things and add a layer of humanity. But there's some very heavy angles and content as well. I felt like it was a fun thrill ride, a sort of roller coaster of rides, like Boogie Nights. And it has a sense of exuberance but also darkness to try and be truthful to the content. The movie is genuinely funny and sincere. It has lived experience in it, which may peel back some layers of the onion here so that the audience can get a sense that sex workers and three-dimensional people do exist. Sex workers are three-dimensional people, okay, too. This movie may not be for the squeamish. Maybe the book is a better experience to simply transmit the information, or maybe not. But this experience really had me invested and entertained. Number 3. I did have pretty high expectations going into Betty Safdie's solo directorial debut, The Smashing Machine, which tells the tale of Mark Kerr, a notable fighter at Pride FC and even the UFC in the 90s and early 2000s. I'd been going back to the Pride archive on YouTube, and Mark absolutely dominated back in 97. Pride lasted from 97 to 07, so the decline is something I haven't gotten to on YouTube yet. So there was something to look forward to. Seeing the Pride logo be so dominant in this movie was very cool. And it's nice to see that The Rock has finally taken a role like this after focusing on blockbuster entertainment for 20 years plus. While this is The Rock's best role since The Rock, he absolutely cannot compare to Emily Blunt, who plays his girlfriend in this movie. She's just much more experienced than him in taking on complex roles. It's a film very much like Raging Bull, in that we get trouble in paradise, domestic scenes, and then fights in Japan for pride. It's a pretty darn impactful experience overall, despite being familiar enough and the acting skill disparity. Like the Iron Claw, I think my expectations were a little unrealistically high, so there was a degree of disappointment, but it's still a captivating film, and the real life element of the film was very intriguing for me as a new fight fan. It's true, I am. All right, number two, 5 out of 5. Oh my god. Must be interchangeable with the first one in terms of quality. I hear Exit 8 is a cool video game. I didn't play it, but I sure did enjoy the film. It's a Japanese tale with a guy who's doing a routine rush hour commute on the subway. He quite quickly finds himself in a continuous loop. The exit leads only to where he was moments ago. Then he reads the fine print on the wall, and he finds out that he must check out for anomalies so that he can advance. He's at exit 0, and he must get to exit 8. It's like levels in a video game, but if you screw up once, you're back at exit 0 and must start all over again. So there's the same stuff to examine, as well as a guy who keeps walking around in a loop. He's the NPC. It does get creepy. The concept is called Dante-esque in the TIFF right up online. There's a love storyline, so reuniting with the partner and the fear of the stability of the relationship is certainly at stake. We will learn how the NPC came to be, and another character enters the mix. There's an interesting depiction of gameplay, but it works first and foremost in cinema. Horror games can really rock the senses, rest assured. This one is more spooky and atmospheric than utterly shattering. I had to take a sip of coffee for my number one film review of TIFF 50. Boo, I hope you're enjoying yourself today. Barrio Triste was a must-see film for me. It's the latest Edgelord production, but not directed by Harmony Korine. It's directed by music video director Stills, but it's clear that Harmony was hands-on with this production. It's set in the slums of Colombia, following a group of aggressive juvenile delinquents who treat people horribly and are treated horribly themselves. There's a scene where the young men are driving towards a robbery wearing bizarre masks, with score bumping, but to add to that, they are listening to a serial killer being interviewed on talk radio. My question is simply, what more can the medium of cinema offer other than this? It feels like peak cinema, and all around the vibe is tough in a great way. The film starts off with one main character stealing a camera during a news broadcast, and the whole film is shot as if it were a documentary. It's like City of God shot by the way of the Blair Witch Project, and it's all punk rock aesthetically. I'm a fan of aggro drifts, but I thought Baby Invasion was a headache. Barrio Triste has really restored my faith in the company, and I believe the approach and aesthetic are very important to reflect this era we live in. Ooh, did it, got through it. My top 10 for TIFF this year. I'm so excited to share this video with you, and stay tuned next week to hear some more TIFF reviews. But keep in mind, the clips, the TikToks, the YouTube Reels, those are happening between Wednesday and Saturday this week. Those are going to be very exciting. You're going to hear clips from Modern Horror, touch of the subject and director, who, and, I just reviewed Modern Horror, and then also The Furious, director and some actors to that. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. I'm really excited that this video is done, and I want you all to have a great day now.